This is Hayes Q Jones, your DVD and Blu-ray baller on a budget, and this is HQ Videos for you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're a current subscriber, what's up? I greatly appreciate it. Come on in and make yourself at home. This channel is for movie lovers and collectors of all kinds. Doesn't matter if your format's 3D, 4K, VHS, Betamax, doesn't matter. Same with your genre. If it's horror, documentaries, sci-fi, doesn't matter. You guys are all welcome here. This week takes me to Barnes & Nobles. This is actually kind of an impulse buy. I love Criterion collections. They usually tend to be a little bit more on the expensive side. So I'm very selective in what I get as far as some Barnes & Nobles, even though they do have a 50% off sale. Along with this, I have my 3D pick for the week, my classic pick, some very cool Universals, just a whole cornucopia of goodness. So stay to the end. Make sure you see every movie that I picked up. But before I get into what I picked up at Barnes & Nobles, not only do I collect movies, yes, I'm one of these weird, wild individuals. I actually watch them. And on a weekly basis, I like to share some things I watched either on the Fire Stick streaming, physical media, or live in the theater with my family. And I'm going to kick it off with some physical media. I believe I picked this up at Dollar Tree. This is a 2018 comedy, Les Bomb. This is directed and written by Jenna Lorenzo, produced by Bobby Farley, starring Steve Guttenberg, Kevin Pollak, Elaine Hendricks, Cloris Leachman, and Bruce Dern. The plot behind this: a still closeted young woman brings her girlfriend home for Thanksgiving, only to have her coming out efforts thwarted by the unexpected arrival of her male roommate. And essentially, this is the story. If you've ever seen the movie with Sidney Poitier, Katharine Hepburn, and I can't think of the other guy's name. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? Same premise. You have an unexpected lover who's not what the parents actually expecting. First kind of 30 minutes, the comedy is kind of really flat and dry. It picks up a little bit when Cloris Leachman and Bruce Dern enter the picture. They actually play the grandparents. Even though they're much older, this is toward the end of their acting career. They weren't quite as sharp as the wit, though, but the comedy started picking up a little bit. The actual family members are actually more interesting and funny than the actual leading characters. So, but very cool, interesting Thanksgiving movie. So if you want a Thanksgiving movie that you haven't seen, check out 2018's Les Bomb. My next movie is a 1984 action comedy drama, Tank. This is directed by Marvin J. Chomsky, produced by Richard McWhorter, written by Dan Gordon. This stars James Garner, Shirley Jones, C. Thomas Howell, Mark Herrera, and Sandy Ward. And the plot behind this: you have, after relocating his family and his prize restored Sherman tank to a small Georgia town, Sergeant Major Zach Carey, played by James Garner, butts heads with the local sheriff. Zach doesn't agree with the ways the local police, and when the sheriff goes after Zach's son, played by C. Thomas Howell, it's time for Zach to roll out the Sherman tank and wage a little war on his own. And first of all, I love James Garner. I grew up watching the Rockford Files as a kid. Shirley Jones from the Partridge Family, and C. Thomas Howell, just all of his movies, taps from the 80s. Of course, that debacle he had with Soul Man, though. But it's a very cool, even though it's an 80s picture, the movie, from what I can see, it looks like it takes place in the 60s or the 70s. So, but very fun, a little corny in parts, though, but it's just kind of a feel-good movie. And it's actually somewhat relevant now, where you actually have the military interfering with the local police, which I believe that might be happening next year, though. But again, and this is a Kino Lorber pick. You'll probably see this later on one of my pickups. So, but very cool classic movie from the 80s, even though it took place in the 60s or 70s. Tank. My next movie is something I actually watched streaming on Netflix. This is the 1973 American documentary film, Save the Children. This is directed by Stan Lathan, written and produced by Matt Robinson, also produced by Clarence Avant. He also has a very cool documentary on Netflix. You want to check that out, Clarence Avant. This stars some of the groups: Cannonball Adderley, Jerry Butler, Sammy Davis Jr., Dennis Edwards, Robert Flack, Melvin Franklin, Marvin Gaye. And this is just a phenomenal documentary / concert. I can't even say it's R&B. It's just soul and funk. Even Sammy Davis Jr., who you really wouldn't consider him an R&B guy, he kind of did his thing though. But some of the outstanding acts, you had the Jackson 5 with Michael Jackson, which was wild. He had to be about 14, 15, 16 at that time. His voice actually sounded deeper at that time than he did when he was an adult. You had Gladys Knight and the Pips. You had the OJs with Joe Levert wearing this outlandish outfit. Looks like something between The Flash and Shazam. Marvin Gaye, just his voice was just butter baby. But the master of funk who kind of stole the show from me, as far as visually, was Isaac Hayes. He came out just so funky. Bald head, these big shades, no shirt, a couple gold chains, had like a gold chain as one as a belt, and the piece de resistance. He had these polar bear boots on. If you just saw him from the waist down, from the calf down, you thought it was like a polar bear. He had some polar bear boots on. You can't get no funkier than that. If you like those, just the afros and bell bottoms and just the whole 70s vibe. The whole purpose of the concert, it was to film the chronicles that appeared during the Jesse Jackson Operation Push exhibition held in 1972 in Chicago. The film was actually released on September 18, 1973 by Paramount Pictures. It was lost, and Stan Lathan was able to kind of reconstruct this. So amazing, fantastic, beautiful documentary. If you like that kind of soul music, definitely check out Save the Children. My last pick is the 2024 American action comedy film, The Killer's Game. It's directed by J.J. Perry, screenplay by Rand Ravitch, James Coyne, based on the book The Killer's Game by James Bonasinghe. I probably killed that guy's name. Produced by Andrew Lazier, Steve Richards, and Kia Jam. This stars Dave Bautista, Sophia Boutella, Terry Crews, Scott Adkins, Marco Zahor, Palm Clementif, and Ben Kingsley. And the plot behind this: at a dance performance in Budapest, the hitman, played by Batista, Joe Flood, carries out an assassination, but is spotted by guards. In the ensuing chaos, Joe spots a fallen dancer, Maze, and helps get out safely. She tries to thank him, but Joe starts to suffer a headache and leaves before Maze can help him. I've, over the years, become a huge Dave Bautista fan, just of his acting, not necessarily the WWE wrestling stuff. I didn't even know who he was back then, though. But from his pieces from Guardians of the Galaxy to movies like Bushwick, Knock at the Cabin Door, that's the name of it. He's really kind of grown as an actor. And even though this is an action film, he still has some comedy elements to it and some romantic, dramatic elements. I think he does a really good job for just being physically a big guy. You really don't see people that size that you consider actors. So I think he's doing a great job acting. I think he looks great since he slimmed down, aka got off the steroids, but you didn't hear that from me. But great movie. If you like Dave Bautista, you like that action, comedy, romance type of film, definitely check out The Killer's Game. Now, without further ado, sit back, relax, have a drink of a smoke, and I'll catch you on the other end of this video. We're back at the Black Cave. Back at the Black Cave. We are back at the motherfucking Black Cave. I have my Barnes & Noble's 50% off Criterion Collection pickup here. Along with this, I have some eBay and Amazon pickups. I have a 4K. Have Kino Lorber here. Have a Japanese 3D import. Have my classic pickup. So just a whole cornucopia of goodness. So let me get these scanned in and we'll jump right into it. Hold on. All right, I'm going to kick it off with what I purchased at Barnes & Noble's. Girl Fight. And this was a little bit of an impulse buy. I knew they had the 50% off sale. Just so happened I was there with the family. And by the way, I have my Wesley Snipes here. This is the AKA the real blade, my Billy Bob Thornton sling blade. But the family was there. Get my son some manga novels. He really loves those. So I'm perusing the very limited movie section, as you can see here. And I haven't seen this in years since without on DVD. And I figured 50% off, looked it up on eBay, looked it up on Amazon, couldn't find anything cheaper. Even on Amazon, it was 50% off basically. So I figured just go ahead and get it there. So you only live once. So again, it's been years since I've seen this. So love to revisit this on Blu-ray with a whole new look, vivid colors, and also like the artwork here. Nice booklet. You have a very young Michelle Rodriguez here. I forgot her name. So nice cover here. Girl Fight. And that's the only thing I picked up at Criterion. Even though 50% off, they're still a little pricey. So, but my eBay and Amazon pickups here. Children of Men with Clive Owen, Julianne Moore, and Michael Caine. This is some of an apocalyptic sci-fi movie. I believe society's gotten to the point where they're not reproducing, they're not having children. And that's pretty much the premise of the story. I think there's one woman that might be pregnant. It's been a while since I've seen this, but Children of Men, I believe I got this eBay on Groove. It's one of those situations you get 3, get 20% off. So got this at a very, very reasonable price. Universal release. Children of Men. Next. Love this movie. I love this movie. Never hear anybody talk about this. Dustin Hoffman's Little Big Man. This is a Paramount release. Is this Paramount? Yeah, Paramount release. And this is a fictional story about a Native American man. It starts out, he's doing kind of a documentary. He's like 100 and plus years old, 120 years old, and he's giving a recount of his life being raised as a Native American. I just love the whole Native American story. They call themselves the human beings. Not sure what they call everybody else. So, but just a very quirky, funny, in part sad story about Native Americans in the Wild West. Little Big Man, Dustin Hoffman. Next, Falling Down. Love Michael Douglas in this role. And I'm sure all of us I've had one of those days just like nothing was going right. And I think he's had one of those lives where just like nothing was going right. And he goes out on a mission with the guy, I think he has an AK, and just, he's gonna make things right one way or the other though. So I haven't seen this in years. Great performance by Michael Douglas. He plays a great psychopath. Great movie, Warner Brothers release, Falling Down. Next, I'm looking at these are really great movies. Well, one of them kind of sucks, but it sucks so bad it's good, but I'll get to that. 4 Rooms. This is essentially 4 stories that revolve around a bellhop played by Tim Roth. You have a star cast: Antonio Banderas, beautiful Salma Hayek, Marissa Tomei, Madonna, Quentin Tarantino. Not only did he write one of the stories, he actually appears in there. And great story about a lighter and a contest. But if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it for you, though. Haven't seen this in years. It's only on DVD. I don't believe there's a U.S. release. So I think this might be Region B. I have a multi-regional player, though. This Region B, I'm not sure. But either way, I can play it, though. But looking forward to watching this. Very fun, well-written, tongue-in-cheek stories, 4 rooms. And this is a Studio Canal Miramax release. Next, and I mentioned this, I think, a while ago, is one of the movies I watched for the week, Suicide Kings. Another great movie. Christopher Walken, Sean Patrick Flannery, Johnny Galecki. And essentially you have these young men that essentially kidnap one of the baddest gangsters in the city and try to extort money from him. Great movie. Christopher Walken is Christopher Walken. I'm a big fan of Christopher Walken. He's just one of those unique actors that you really can't compare him to. He's like a Jack Nicholson or a Michael Shannon. Those are ones that just kind of pop into mind. They're just very quirky, not necessarily the best looking actors, but they just have a swag and just a presence about them that really makes for great cinema. Suicide Kings. And I'm trying to think of this Lionsgate release, even though this is an import. I wouldn't be surprised if Kino Lorber, maybe Shout Factory, comes out with a release. I'll probably get that also, though. Suicide Kings. Next, my Kino Lorber pick. This is probably, story-wise, one of the worst movies. Is the Barbarian Brothers, the Steroid Twins, whatever you want to call them, though. This is like a medieval film. I watched this a while ago. Horrible, just a very bad movie. Just a very, very bad movie, though. But it's so bad it's good. It's on that level. This is a Kino Lorber. I had to look when I first purchased this. Kino Lorber, but it's one of those Scorpion releases, so it doesn't have the typical back to it. It doesn't have the uniform back like most of the Kino Lorbers do. I might actually switch this around since it looks more dark than the other ones. I don't know. Might go more in line with the Kino Lorber logo. And this was a MGM release, Kino Lorber, The Barbarians. Next, I know everyone got this when it came out. I'm always late to get new releases, especially if I've seen them before. I always try to get them at the most reasonable or cheapest price. So able to get this at, I think it's called Pop Art now. Again, one of those situations you get 20% off. So got a good deal on this. Great movie. Heard a lot of people complaining about the transfer. I didn't have any problem with it. It looked beautiful to me. It sounded fantastic. I actually put the Blu-ray and the 4K in to compare, so both look fantastic. 4K, of course, had a little bit more detail and a little crisper on the sound, but great movie, classic. Still don't have The Abyss yet. I'm hoping Black Friday, somewhere they'll have The Abyss at a reasonable price. So, True Lies, Schwarzenegger, Jamie Lee Curtis. It's a 20th Century Fox release. True Lies. Next, my classic pick, A Soldier Story, starring some heavy hitters, Denzel Washington, Robert Townsend, Howard E. Rollins. If you don't, Robert Townsend did the movie Hollywood Shuffle, one of the funniest movies I've seen. Just fantastic movie. But this deals more with African-American or black men in the military. And this is an Image release. And lastly, my 3D pick for the week, we have The Marvels. And I know a lot of people didn't like the movie. I found it entertaining. It was on the level of the Avengers, though, but it's still a Marvel movie, still a fun movie. I haven't had a chance to watch it in 3D. I just popped it in and it looked decent, but I haven't had a chance to actually watch the whole movie in 3D. That's my 3D pick for the week, and this is my weekly pickup. Criterion Collection. If you're familiar with the channel, this is where I separate the art from the plastic and the disc. Some of these might make the shelf, so give me a moment and I'll get you good people on your way. Hold on. I have everything scanned into my CLZ Movies app. C is in Children of Men, L is in Little Big Man, Z is in Z for Zachariah. Let's knock this out. I have everything laid out, ready to be put back in its proper place. As usual, I appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. If you made it this far in the video, smash a like. Give me the big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. Other than that, may the best of your past be the worst of your future. Everyone, please be safe. Deuces.